countdown begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually for Zerb, for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times, and don't mess up the cash flow, we live.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Raze back live again on this Sunday evening live stream. Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button as you guys come in. Because the free Diddy chant train is getting stronger and stronger day by day, guys. I was at the Diddy trial and at the courthouse over the past couple of days. And I've seen some people pulling up, even on my live stream, saying free Diddy. Also, people driving around that courthouse after they see all of the media presence, they like free Diddy, free Diddy. And now we have no other than Ray J, guys. Yes, hit that like button, guys. That Ray J is now saying to free Diddy. And this comes after the whole statement by President Donald Trump about maybe, just maybe, if he sees fit, issuing a presidential pardon to Diddy in the event that he is convicted. I'm going to play that also for you guys. But I have the audio of Ray J telling TMZ why Diddy should be freed and why he believes this is not a RICO case. This is not a RICO case. And me and others have been saying this, that maybe the federal government overreached on their charges and maybe they should have charged them with something different. But I'm going to play for you what exactly Ray J said in that interview. Shout out to T. Williams is in the building. Salute to you, T. Williams. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Rest in peace to the New York Knicks. A great season. Great. I think they played over their head. But rest in peace to the New York Knicks. The New York Knickerbockers went out last night in 6 to the Indiana Pacers out there inside Indiana. Words or Weapons is in the building. Razor Ray. Shout out to you, Words or Weapons. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like. My guy Troy from New York City is in the building. Shout out to you, Troy. The free Diddy train is here. At the dismay of a lot of people that want Diddy buried underneath the jail, because y'all believe that he did do the beat downs on Cassie and others, and also maybe S assaults. So, but this is interesting. This is like the trial of the 21st century is right now. Like I said, I'll be out there. I'll be back out there tomorrow at the Diddy trial in Lower Manhattan. And you see the media coverage of this. This is huge. I talked to an employee inside that works in that court building. He said this is the biggest trial he's seen, and he's worked in that building for years. So, yeah, Troy. Shout out to you, Troy. More and more, I think Diddy is going to walk. Man, and for you to think that, Desmond, man, that is wild. That is wild, because when he first got arrested, everybody thought he was a goner. I mean, there's a chance he still may be, depending on the jury. But someone was in that courtroom. I know Tisa Tells was in the courtroom, and she said that as the Diddy team, Brian Steele was cross-examining victim number 4, the one that said Diddy S assaulted her. As Diddy's lawyers were cross-examining her on the stand, some of the jurors were laughing and basically pretty much shaking their head yes to Brian Steele's, cross-examination of the victim. So that's why I gotta say, I said it even before I knew that report came out from Tisa Tells, that I said I think Diddy's team had a great day on Friday. His defense team, he added Brian Steele to his defense team. Brian Steele was the lawyer of Young Thug out there inside Atlanta, and he got Young Thug a plea deal where he didn't have to serve any more jail time. I believe it like 15 years probation. But Brian Steele, he was a beast. He was a beast yesterday, and he's going to cross-examine victim number 4 again tomorrow. So, man, that's going to be another interesting day. Have a good show, says Tunnel Runner. Oh, shout out to you, Tunnel Runner. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. I'm about to play for you what Ray J said. Hello. Says Anita. Anita says free Diddy. I've been saying Trump is going to pardon Diddy. Yes, I'm going to play for you exactly what Trump said. Also, Troy, I'm going to play for you exactly what he says. So, L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line. Please subscribe to my guy, L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line. Thank you for pulling up on the last live stream from yesterday. Highly appreciate you and your channel, L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line. You know, support the brothers, guys. Support the brothers, the fellow YouTubers, L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line. Yes. This is definitely not a RICO case. So y'all guys agree? Well, I didn't even play what Ray J said yet. This is definitely not a RICO case. And now back to the studio for the latest update from Raze, says Jack Black. Shout out to you. Shout out to my guy Otto Will is in the building. Yes, sir. Just tapped in. What it do? We just talking about, is this a RICO case or not, guys? You know, still probably the best lawyer he got. Yeah, out of the 10, still is the best. Now, before I play what Ray J said, this was on Fox News, right? And remember, I was saying that, wow, for a former prosecutor to say this about RICO and this maybe not being a RICO case, and the prosecution hasn't proved that this is a RICO case. And this is a former prosecutor. And then I'm going to play what Ray J said. But this is a former prosecutor on Fox News saying that he doesn't think the prosecution has proven RICO.
John Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial will resume tomorrow as a third personal assistant is set to take the stand. Over the first couple of weeks, jury members heard explosive testimony detailing the alleged physical and emotional abuse Combs caused. Let's bring in David Gelman, former prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. David, welcome.
Hey, Mike. Good to be here.
So in week 2 of testimony, jurors heard from a dozen witnesses as prosecutors try to prove sex trafficking and racketeering. What are your expectations when court resumes tomorrow?
It's going to be really interesting tomorrow when Diddy's third or fourth assistant takes a stand, and she's going to actually corroborate Kid Cudi's testimony from last week, where he said that Diddy and another associate of his bombed his Porsche years ago at his house. Now, you have to have corroboration about that because nobody can put Diddy there. And in fact, nobody even can say Diddy's the actual one who did it. But if they can say that Diddy or an associate of his did it, then you may have a racketeering charge there. Because right now, as it stands, Mike, nothing, and I mean nothing, is sticking to Diddy.
Diddy's lawyers are trying to make the case that his escapades do not amount to federal crimes. How difficult is that argument?
I think they're doing a fantastic job, honestly. Look, everybody has said, and Diddy's lawyers even said it in their opening statement, Diddy is not a good guy. There's a lot of domestic violence that occurred between him and Cassie in their relationship. However, what we've heard so far from the testimony of Cassie and the other individuals does not amount to the federal charges that he's being charged with right now. I'm not going to say anything that we heard is very good because it's all horrific. However, the state or the government in this particular instance needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he conspired to racketeer, to sex traffic, and to promote prostitution. So far, they're falling way behind in this. And I know there's a lot more to go in this trial because they're saying it's going to be about 8 weeks. But the government really better step on the gas because they don't have a lot more time to go.
So the play seems to be maybe admit to a state crime that avoids prison time. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, again, you're hearing about all this domestic violence, but all of that has nothing to do with what Diddy is charged with. There's a possibility, and I'm saying a very strong possibility right now, that Diddy could walk, that he could be spending 4th of July at home having a barbecue.
Interesting. David Gelman, thank you very much for your analysis today.
Woo! There you guys see it. A former prosecutor saying strong possibility Diddy could walk. And I've been playing that for the past few days to show you guys the level of possibility coming from experts and legal experts that's saying that, wait a minute, they don't really see a RICO charge here. Maybe the feds have overreached their charges on this. And because of that, they may allow Diddy to walk free. Hit that like button, guys. Can y'all believe that? Can y'all believe that? Oh man. I mean, I'm telling you that the free Diddy train is getting a little louder, guys. You know what I'm saying? And and I'm gonna play for you what Ray J had to say. And subscribe to my guy L.A. Wilkes, guys. He comes through with the 1999 bomb super sticker. Shout out to you. Shout out to this guy. Subscribe. Please give my fellow tuber who does both travel and investigative type streams on his channel. Shout out to him and his channel, LA Wilkes. I dropped this channel link in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe with the $20 super sticker right there. That's your channel right there. Just posted it, real quick. Go over there, give him a shout out, and give him a sub. The big Euro short says, I never seen a solo RICO. Now, I've been explaining this also. I believe the people that are testifying against Diddy, they are unindicted co-conspirators. They have been flipped, such as his former assistants. They have been given, some of them been getting proffers or straight up immunity to testify against Diddy. The big Euro shorts. I think that's what's going on. But they're trying to say Bad Boy Records is a criminal organization. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to play for you what Ray J had to say, why he believes this is not a RICO, and that to free Diddy. But before we get to that, let me RICO right here. That's right there. That is the definition of RICO. I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, but that's the definition of RICO right there. And then this is some of the stuff that falls underneath RICO, that list. The arson, bribery, counterfeiting, distribution of controlled substances, gambling, extortion, embezzlement, kidnapping, mail fraud, robbery, and delight. But underneath a criminal organization, he is the head of a criminal organization. They have to prove that Bad Boy Records itself then is the criminal organization, right? If it's the RICO, charge, So that's what we are looking at right now. Hit the like button, guys. You guys come in, guys, because like I said, it's as I'm going to be back out at the courtroom tomorrow, but like I said, this is really that the free Diddy train is really rising. You know what I'm saying? Much more than it was when he first got arrested. Hot Wayne is in the buildings looking. Shout out to you, Hot Wayne. Hurry, free the Diddler, says Spiritual Preneur. Des Mitt is in the building. I just want to know when the next freak off party is. Man, some of y'all guys are saying y'all don't want to touch, y'all wouldn't touch Cassie nowadays. Y'all want to touch her. So man, let me see. I still don't like how Diddy sold Shine out. Yeah, 10 years in prison for Shine because of that shooting at that nightclub. I think that was when J-Lo was present. Will J-Lo be called to testify? You know what I'm saying? Will J-Lo be called to testify? I don't know. The prosecutors got about 2 more weeks of bringing in witnesses, and then the defense is going to call their witnesses. And I believe Ray J more than likely will be one of Diddy's witnesses. I was asking yesterday, who will Diddy's team call to the stand to testify on Diddy's behalf? Ray J is one of your number one candidates right now. Hit the like button, guys. Still probably the best lawyer he got. Okay, so I'm going through your chats right now. I don't want to, miss your chats. Let me see. Okay. Diddy is not guilty of RICO. He's guilty of FRICO. Says Desmond. That we can all agree with. We can 100% all agree with, and I would add even more, abuse, you know what I'm saying? Assaults and stuff like that. Because I can believe I can believe some of these victims. I can believe he roughed them up and did, some of the stuff they said he did. You know what I mean? But like Diddy's lawyer keeps saying that he's not actually charged with that. You get what I'm saying? So they went for the RICO and racketeering. And all right, let's just get this. Let's see what Ray J had to say. This is Ray J's comments. Right now, the game is late in the third quarter, and the feds are down by 10 points, says Desmond. And that's what the basically that prosecutor, the former prosecutor that went on Fox News said. But let's see exactly what were the comments by Ray J yesterday on this whole Diddy situation? Hit the like button.
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, you know, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
You hear that? He says free Diddy, guys. Free Diddy. He thinks he's being overcharged. He believes the feds have overreached and threw in extra charges that maybe should not have been thrown in there. Thus, free Diddy. And even he mentioned that maybe he should have been basically hinting at that he should have been charged with something else. Do y'all guys agree with Ray J? Free Diddy, guys. Yo, you got to hit that like button. You got to hit that like button, guys. You know, I just played it. Raze, can you send me $20? Yeah, I send you $20. You send me 40 to the Cash App, $Raze Raze XX, and I send you $20 back. How about that? You know, I send you 20. You send me 40 first, and I send you $20 back through the Cash App. Deal? Do we have a deal? Do we have a deal? I drop my Cash App right now. Let me drop my Cash App. You know, and we do that deal. All right, first, matter of fact, I dropped the LA Wilkes channel. But matter of fact, my Cash App is posted at the top of the chat. Go ahead and send me 40, and I send you 20 back. My Cash App is posted at the top of this. Actually, I don't have to drop it. So Anita says exactly. So Anita agrees with Ray J. You know, in my fault, Anita agrees with Ray J. Drew the Kardashians under the bus. Yeah, he did throw the Kardashians under the bus, saying he feels that the Kardashians is more of a RICO case than Diddy. Or y'all agreeing with Ray J in that assessment? I say put him in the same jail as Suge Knight. Ooh, that'll make for, man, you're gonna have to have some cameras in there. That'll make for a great reality show, Troy Knight. Troy, that'll make for a great reality show. Actually, Suge Knight actually said also that he believes Diddy should walk. He said there's been other executives at that record company that probably should be a co-defendant right now. And he said that Diddy should walk. You know, Suge Knight, you know, that's what Suge Knight said. You know, he said Diddy should walk. Like I said, the free Diddy train is rising right now. And I think maybe because people get the feeling that the prosecution is using the RICO in a way it wasn't really intended to be used. They are stretching it, and if they can use this against Diddy and Bad Boy Records, they can use it against other people. They're setting a bad precedent. I think that's pretty much what's going on. They saying, yeah, charge Diddy appropriately. Maybe get him for sex assault or get him for abuse. You know. But to do all of this, maybe this is an overreach, and it might set a bad precedent. I think that's that's what a lot of people are pretty much thinking right now. It has set a bad precedent for them to actually find him guilty of racketeering or RICO in this instance. Free Diddy till it's backwards says, okay, if they charge him for RICO, they can get all of his assets. So you're saying this is about getting his assets? I heard he tried to put his assets in other people's names. I'm starting to hear railroad in the distance. Yeah. That RICO charge is probably his ticket to freedom. They definitely overreached. Yeah, so T. Williams, you're saying that maybe they have overreached. And like I said, Tisa Tells was in the courtroom, and if you want to go by what she said, if you believe what she said the jurors were listening and watching, well, really watching and agreeing with the Diddy's defense when they were cross-examining Mia, who is victim number 4, who was testifying against Diddy that he assaulted her and, on all this. And she stayed there for years. And they were kind of shaking their head, agreeing with Brian Steele, who is the defense attorney of Diddy, one of the 10. And even Tisa tells her, like, it's not looking good right now. At least Friday wasn't looking good because of the way the jurors were behaving. She was saying the judge maybe should have, if the judge paid attention, should have, told the jurors to stop behaving that way and stop pretty much, cheering on the defense. Shout out to Troy once again laughing. My hero Diddy. Well, I don't know if y'all want to say all that. The baddies in Miami Swim Week were absolutely ridiculous last night. I thought I was at the Playboy Mansion. Oh my God. Yeah, you did say you was going to pull up on the Mitsubishi guys. Not in the black hood, though. Shout out to you, Desmond. Shout out to you guys, man. This, man, it's funny, man. It's funny, man. I like to have some fun, man. This is fun. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. Do y'all guys agree with Ray J? Is this a RICO case? Will Diddy walk because the government has overreached? I'm going to be at that court tomorrow, that courthouse tomorrow, so be prepared for that. It's all about money, says Antonio Anderson. Hit the like button. Anybody new to the channel, hit the like button. He said S trafficking. The mom was responsible for leaking the S tapes. To me, that could be criminal. Yes, that could be get them on blackmail, right? Stuff like that. It's interesting. It is interesting. Chris Rock laughing. Shout out to you, Travel Squad. Chris Rock laughing at Puff Daddy. Ray J also said Suge was busting down dudes. Yeah, that one right there is kind of graphic, so I'm not gonna even play that one. But yeah, I know about that. Remember Mace told us that he has things in his mother's name. Yes, he does, and that is true, Troy. He does have things in his mother's name, in his mama's name. Matter of fact, he was trying to use that house as collateral to get out on bail months ago when he was trying to get bail. Tisa tells want Diddy to go down so bad, the hater. But even she said on Friday that, and I seen her outside the courtroom. She's taller than I thought she would be. She was saying that, look, the defense team for Diddy had a great day. Yes, that day on Friday, and that the jurors, it seemed like that Brian Steele guy that Diddy hired from Atlanta, he was winning over the jury, at least for that day, against that witness and against that alleged victim. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that the Diddy team is winning over the jurors on the other victims, but at least she said she's seen the way the jury was behaving, pretty much rooting and cheering on the defense as he was cross-examining the alleged victim, and she didn't like it at all. She did not like it at all. She did not like the behavior of the jury. Of course, she is well known to be rooting for Diddy to be locked up, for a long time. So she has spoken out outwardly about it. What up, Rolando G? Hit the like button, guys. There's a RICO. Better no free Diddy. Better no free Diddy. No, I'm not joining Kirk Franklin's Brotherhood. Shout out to Music Anime. Shout out to you. I think TV says I think Ray J is telling the truth at Rolando G. This is not a slam dunk that they told us about free Diddy. So you're saying it's not as slam dunk of a case like we first thought when he first got arrested. Well, like I said, 97% conviction rate, right? Now, a 95% conviction rate the feds have on this type of stuff. It seems almost unlikely. It's like it's almost unfathomable that he would survive this, right, without any jail time on a sentence, right? But who knows? Jima's World is in the building. Salute. You got to convince those 12 jurors in here. My guy, shout out to you, Jima's World. Hi, how you doing? How you doing, Jima's World? Shout out to you and your channel, Jima. Brian Steele exposed the lies of the victim. Free Diddy, complete fit up. Okay, so some of you guys are, like I said, the Free Diddy train is rising right now. Let me play the Ray J thing, and then I'm gonna get to the words of Donald Trump. And like I said, I think Diddy has had a nice, good 48 hours. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you said Chris Rock at Will Smith YouTube believe. So that's what you said he's laughing over there. Okay, I'll check that out. But y'all guys check this out one more time. Here's Ray J saying Free Diddy.
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
Do y'all see how he threw his former Kardashian girlfriend and her family under the bus by saying he would believe it was RICO if it was the Kardashians? Hit that like button, guys. Woo! That's nasty work right there, Ray J. That's nasty work right there. You was in a famous sex tape with her, man. And now you throwing her under the bus like that? Wow. Wow. That's wild. Diabolical. Tommy Henson says Free Diddy. You miss the parties, don't you? You talk about Ray J? Well, Ray J, yeah, I mean, he now Ray J's point is he believes that they are adding extra charges. He did mention about charge him correctly with the proper charges. He thinks that this should not be a RICO. He thinks Blue Capone, he thinks this should not be a RICO. You know what I'm saying? Subpoena Ray J. So you want now, I think Ray J may testify for the defense, actually. After, like I said, in the second week of this month, the prosecutor said they're not going to have any more witnesses. They're going to cut some of the witnesses, and that then it's going to be time for the defense to call any witnesses if they have to testify on the behalf of Diddy. Do you believe Ray J would be one of those? You know what I mean? That would walk into that courtroom and testify on the behalf of Diddy. So I'm trying to find some who would be the celebrities that would have the courage to go in there and testify for their good friend Diddy. What celebrities that were at the freak-offs and politicians? Don't forget about politicians. Which one of I probably know not one politician is going to go testify for Diddy, but about any of these celebrities, will they go in there and where's Justin Bieber? Will he go in there and speak up for Diddy and say, you know what, there has been rumors and this and that. I'm here to testify and say Diddy helped my career. He is a great person, a great man. Free Diddy. Same thing with Usher. Will Usher take the stand and say, hey, Free Diddy, he has been a great influence in my life. I didn't see no wrongdoing. Free Diddy. Hit the like button, guys. Troy says, Ja Rule. Will Ja Rule go inside that courtroom and say, hey, Free Diddy? Man. Puff is done. Lost and Found says, Puff is done. The prosecution has already proven coercion with Cassie and crimes through a criminal enterprise, Bad Boy Records. Most of us just don't understand the law. Now, that's what I was saying before. I said they're trying to say that Bad Boy Records is the criminal enterprise. And people like Cassie, even though she's testifying against Diddy, She's an unindicted co-conspirator who has been flipped, same as Diddy's, other, assistants and future witnesses that's going to testify coming this week, including his cook. It's going to be interesting to see if the cook has a immunity or a proffer agreement with the prosecutors. More than likely, the cook does, and that was a female cook, and she's going to testify coming up, I think, this week or the next week. And so technically, you could say that some of these workers were doing criminal activities or sweeping criminal activities under the rug as far as abuse that they witnessed, or carrying his guns to go pull up on Suge Knight, and that's criminal, or purchasing Diddy's personal drugs, which is a crime technically. So, they're saying that that's the reason that the Bad Boy Records is a criminal organization led by the kingpin, Diddy himself. They're using that similar, like I said, that's how they brought down the mafia, the mob in the 80s and the early 90s. So that's what they're using. Or they overreaching though. That's the thing. Tell the truth. They trying to turn us against Diddy by peeking in his bedroom. Free Diddy. Yeah. Man, well, let me show y'all some of the stuff they found inside his bedroom. This is some of the evidence. This is, I guess I'm here just to give y'all. Now they found that. They found that that had the serial number scratched off, by the way. So that was some evidence, right? But the Diddy's team said, look, they asked that federal agent, look, they can still trace whose gun these are, even though the serial numbers are scratched off, right? With fingerprints and this and that. And then they asked the federal agent, yeah, it's not unnormal for people to have guns in their houses in Florida, right, agent? And the agent said, no, it's not uncommon. So why is it a problem for Diddy to have guns inside his Florida home, right? And then they asked the federal agent, don't you have a gun, federal agent, in your home? And the federal agent said, yes. So that was the federal agent that raided Diddy's Florida home. And this is what they also found inside Diddy's home, guys. Oh, look at all that, guys. Look, what is he using all that baby oil for, guys? Woo! This case is this case is just straight up diabolical altogether. I mean, all of that baby oil. What the hell? Woo, man. Look at all that baby oil and lube up in there. Man, Diddy is a freak, man. Diddy is a weirdo, man. I tell you. Come on, guys. Y'all gotta admit, Diddy is a weirdo. I can think everybody knows that. Everybody knows Diddy's a weirdo. That's for sure. He ain't my type of guy to hang out with, that's for sure. But the free Diddy train is getting louder. Has this become more about winning and losing rather than innocent or guilty for the feds? Interesting. I don't know. And that's why I'm going to be at that courthouse tomorrow. You got to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be out there, at that courthouse and see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And, is it? I don't know. And maybe the feds have overreached this time. This is going to be the trial of the century for the beginning of the 21st century. Like I said, OJ was the trial of last century. According to a lot of people, this is going to be all them cameras is out there already. Imagine when the verdict is about to be read. You ain't gonna be able to walk in front of that court building. The courts will make an example of Diddy, and he will pay for what he did to those women. Never free Diddy, says we outside. Shout out to you, we outside. They're trying to make an example of him. They're trying, but it's up to those 12 jurors. Now, if it was a judge that had the power to say guilty or not, then I can see Diddy definitely would be found guilty if it was if it was a judge's decision to find Diddy guilty on a RICO. But the jurors, like people were saying in this chat, a lot of the jurors probably don't even understand 100% the RICO. They not legal experts or nothing like that. And like I said, they were pretty much cheering on the Diddy defense team when he was cross-examining the victim who said that Diddy sexually abused her, so that's, and like I said, Ja Rule, you said Ja Rule might be a surprise witness to testify in favor of Diddy. Raze, your reporting has been top notch on this thing, bro. Hey, thank you, Desmond. Hopefully, I'm just bringing y'all, this to you guys in a, non-complicated way, because I'm no jury. I'm not on a jury. I'm, and I am no judicial expert at all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to follow it and make it as clear as possible for you guys to follow, because really I don't understand everything at all. You know what I mean? So but so I'm watching just right along before you guys. Most people commenting on this trial have not even read the transcripts. They know absolutely. All right, so you saying they know absolutely nothing? Says we outside. Man. Man. Norma Varela is in the building. Never. So Norma says never. Now, listen. Now, I know that the free Diddy train is pissing a lot of people off. I know that because people want to see Diddy fry. I know that. And it's not lost on me that, people just want to see him fry just for the abuse itself. And I understand that, I would, if he was charged with abuse and assault, yeah, he'd probably be found guilty very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Just off the testimony alone of the people that say they witnessed it. I think people are just saying, look, charge him properly and not overreach. But I can't understand where people have a bad taste in their mouth about the physical abuse. You know what I mean? I mean, that was disgusting what we witnessed. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Swift DV, free him. I'm stretched up for bro. Okay. See, this is how ignorant people are. You don't have to be from New York to read transcripts. I guess this is normal behavior for people from New York. Well, like I said, I'm bringing what's being said from inside the courtroom and from the inside, where the people are taking a stand that are testifying against Diddy. I'm telling you exactly what they're saying, what's being said in there. The prosecutor's questions and the defense cross-examination. Now, letting y'all guys know exactly what's going on verbatim. You know what I mean? Now, I haven't entered inside the courtroom yet. One of these days I will. Especially when the verdict is about to be read. I'm gonna try to get in there. I had to get to the courtroom very early, probably 4:30 in the morning for that day. But people could people can't form an opinion of what's being said inside that courtroom just by me reading what's being said. And people form their opinion like they are juror number 13. You know what I'm saying? Now, we all bystanders in this thing. We're not lawyers or inside the courtroom, but we still can opinionate on news like a barbershop. We ain't gotta be experts, and that's true. That's and that's true. Like, but I gotta tell you guys, the free Diddy train is rising. Yes, Almita. Yes, Almita. Okay, Almita. Yes. What is that? That's what they found inside Diddy's home. That's all that baby oil and lube. What's that? Astrogel? Hey, yeah, y'all know about that Astrogel? Yeah, that's what they found inside Diddy's home out there in Florida. They found all the evidence right there. That baby oil is gonna bury Diddy, guys. Hit that like button. He was a baby oil hoarder. He could have been on that TLC show. Oh, man. Always take a jury trial over a judge. Now, why is this? Why do y'all believe you should always take, if you had the option to? Do you have the option to? I don't know. I'm not a criminal, so I wouldn't know. Do they give you an option in these federal cases to take a jury trial over a judge trial, guys? I don't know, guys. You guys, anybody that know about that? This is what we are learning today. This question, this comment was put out there by my guy T. Williams. Is this, guys? Let us know, because we're trying to learn as we do these streams. We're trying to learn some of the legal mumbo jumbo. And can you accept a judge trial over a jury trial? Do you have that option? Do you get that option? You know, did they ask Diddy? Did they ask Diddy's team? Do they want a jury trial or a judge trial? I probably should know this, but like I said, I'm no criminal, so I don't. You know. Like I said, subscribe to LA Wilkes channel. Salute Rolando 100. Here's another free Diddy. The free Diddy train is coming in the building. Travel Squad, I was waiting to hear about all the raping, guns, drugs, and murders. So far, none of that. At first, I was against Diddy, but the evidence so far showed they exaggerated. So you're saying these are exaggerated charges? They overreach with the charges, Travel Squad. And that's fair. Shout out to you, Travel Squad. Nomad, Ty Third. I heard baby oil was bad to use. Look at that. All the evidence right there, guys. That's the evidence. More oil says it's probably 50-50. So you're saying 50-50, 50-50. And that's fair. That's fair. At Rolando G condones Diddy's behavior. Thanks for showing your hand. You must be in line to handle the Astroglide. Oh man. They're going at you, Rolando G. They're going at you. Hit that like button though, guys. Thanks for all your donations. I appreciate you over the week. I appreciate you. We will be back in front of that Diddy courthouse this week. Said more oil. She is a freaky. Men move off logic over emotion. That being said, free Diddy, says Osmosis Jones. Let me see. Raze, I would make a donation to your show if you could find a person that would sit in line for the verdict, so you could go into the trial to hear the verdict. All right. Shout out to you, Drew. You would make a donation to the show if you could find a person that would sit in line for the. Oh, okay. Well, listen. That day, man, I'm going to be going live anyway that day for the verdict. If I don't drink any beers that night and I wake up early, I just go ahead and go down. I get in that line. I go down. But it's going to be unfair because, a lot of the official media people from CNN, a lot of media people are right across the street and they have tents set up. So basically, they're already going to hire somebody to be. So you're right, Drew. They're already going to hire people to be out there, to walk across the street and go in the line. So I ain't going to be able to get in there. I would have to really camp out, But maybe, it would be exciting, but we can't film inside the courtroom anyway. So it'd be cool to be in there and see Diddy's reaction. I could describe Diddy's reaction, the jurors and this and that. But I won't be able to film it. You know what I mean? I can go live outside the courtroom as the verdict is being read and go live. And, maybe I'll be more useful that way. But it would be a cool moment. That's like if you were sitting inside the OJ trial when the OJ was found, not guilty. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, T. Williams just answered that question. Yes, Raze, you have the option for judge or jury trial. It is the defendant's right. Okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. And that's why y'all gotta come to this channel, because we get educated inside this channel by people in the chat. So, okay. Yeah, so Diddy would have been fried right now if this was a trial by judge. Guys, I don't think he would have had any shot of beating this RICO because, judge and this and that. But the jury of his peers, 12 people that don't really understand the law like that, they're trying to be educated by the courtroom about the law and this and that. So, and they are thinking just like us, viewing, and just like us in this chat right here. This was a no-brainer to do a trial by jury rather than have a trial by judge, T. Williams. Diddy would have zero chance if this was trial by judge, I believe. And I think they would probably say, yes, this is a RICO technically, I think the judge will find a way to say this is a RICO. You get what I mean? Or maybe he got lucky and have a judge to say, well, I don't believe the federal prosecutors have brought forth the proper charges for me to say guilty on a RICO. You know, maybe you find a judge that get real technical like that. But yeah, I think it's much safer to go by trial by jury, because all you need is one juror to say not guilty. You get what I'm saying? All right. If Diddy gets free, he is going on a revenge tour, like Trump says, Bruce M2. Now, that's interesting. I'm going to get into the Trump stuff, because Trump made some comments about maybe pardoning Diddy. Now, if Trump was to pardon Diddy, if Diddy was to be convicted, right? And and I see 50 Cent, I think, sent the message out to Trump about not pardoning Diddy. Now, this is going to be interesting. If Trump were to pardon Diddy, would Diddy go on a revenge tour? It would be stupid for him to do. He has his freedom. Why ruin your freedom? But some people say that would be putting some of the people that testified against Diddy at risk if Trump was to give him a pardon. And that is a great point, actually. This is interesting. This is crazy interesting right now. Preach Rolando. Diddy guilty. It's simple. Regardless of domestic violence, he ran a criminal enterprise and participated in extortion and bribery. We haven't even gotten to the attempted murder and gang violence. Now, as far as the violence, they said they pulled up with the guns, on Suge Knight in LA, right? And you say, they were trying to prove arson with the Kid Cudi car. Arson is on that list. The bribery, extortion, the kidnapping, which one of the assistants claimed she was kidnapped for 5 days, put on a lie detector test because some jewelry given by Jacob the jeweler had gone missing. So she said she was kidnapped for 5 days, but she continued working there afterwards. She didn't report it to police. I don't know. It's wild, man. It is wild. But the biggest evidence they have, though, guys, that's going to nail Diddy is the baby oil. You can't have so much baby oil in there. That's criminal, guys. Trump was basically stated that he's going to let Diddy out for a price, says Desmond. Most poor defendants take the first deal the prosecutors offer. They never get to trial. Now, Diddy turned down. Now, we know Diddy is not poor. Diddy turned down reportedly a 15-year prison sentence right before trial started. That was a plea deal. Now, we've heard that he turned it down. I didn't know the terms of that plea deal, but it was reported that it was, if y'all guys believe the reports, that it was a 15-year prison sentence that he turned down. He said, no, I'm going to fight this case. I think we could get one juror to say not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Trump. All right, so if not RICO, he'll still go to jail during subsequent lawsuits. Now, he could get lawsuited. Yes, he could get lawsuited. I don't know about going to jail during the law. Yeah, you can't go to. He's not going to get. He had to go back and forth to court to fight the lawsuits. If he gets free, guys, he can go join. He could go join the what's that? He could go to Indonesia, Bali, Indonesia, with Russell Simmons. After this, and be like, you know what? I dodged the bullet. Let me get the hell out of here. Let me become a citizen of Bali, Indonesia, like Russell Simmons, guys. Hit that, like the former co-founder of what's that? Def Jam, right? Def Jam Records, right? DMX. Yeah. He could go do that. Guys. If Diddy gets out somehow by Trump, or because remember, the state technically could bring charges against Diddy themselves also, right? So should Diddy take off and exit the USA and go to Bali, Indonesia, where there is no extradition treaty with the United States, and chill out there? Should he think about doing that? If he gets the blessing of Trump, or just gets found not guilty, just break the hell out before the state, if the state decide to go ahead and try to charge him or something. You know what I'm saying? Think R. Kelly, Diddy's next, regardless of RICO. Where's the evidence for arson? The receipt for the explosive device, geolocation of Puff being on the scene. Now, I believe he did that to that man car. I believe it, but there's no physical evidence in today's day and age. You know, I think you would want physical evidence that he actually was the one that had somebody either burn the car or he did it himself. They said they found female DNA at the scene. You could say maybe that was Capricorn Clark's DNA, or they, as defense was pretty much hitting that maybe it was Cassie's DNA on that Molotov cocktail that burned that car. You know what I'm saying? So I think the defense is doing a good job of putting doubt inside the defense. I mean, inside the jurors. Would the jurors want to send Diddy? And that's Puff Daddy. People, and this is when people's celebrity come to. That's Puff Daddy. It's a lot of those jurors knew him as Puff Daddy, and maybe you get one. That's why you take the jury trial over the judge trial, right, T. Williams? Because you might get one that maybe grew up loving Puff Daddy in a bad boy family. You know what I'm saying? And just didn't say it during jury selection, and is going to find him not guilty just because he probably loved Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't let it be known. So that's why you take the jury trial over the judge trial. If Diddy gets out, he's leaving the country straight to be next door neighbors with Russell Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Now Russell Simmons have been avoiding this lawsuit. Somebody actually said that he sexually assaulted her. He's been avoiding it, telling the U.S. courts that he is no longer a citizen of USA. There's no jurisdiction over him, and it's been working. It's been working. So so some of these celebrities that's probably in line to get maybe prosecuted next. Maybe hop on that flight, get that passport. Diddy has the mindset of mobsters equal RICO, says we outside. Most people will have to take 15 parole in 7 years. Okay, yeah. And Diddy got that money for that law team. That's the thing. We outside. What kind of mindset do you have? He is already done. Diddy should bounce. If he gets acquitted, bounce from the U.S., says Jay White. Just in case they start trying to do state charges, right? Diddy going overseas is the same as getting convicted. Meaning, that means he's a prisoner outside of. That means you pretty much saying he'd be on a run if he was to go to Bali, Indonesia, and just chill out there. I mean, he could buy a house out there. He can, enjoy the beaches out there. If there is beaches, it should be beaches out there in Indonesia. Yeah, I mean, he'd be a free man at least. He won't be able to hang out in the States anymore like he used to. But another New Yorker. If he were on trial for his dancing, he would go down. Pause. Another New Yorker, as we outside. There was an unmarked van registered to Bad Boy Records leaving the scene as police pulled up. Why would a van belonging to Diddy be at the scene of Kid Cudi's explosion? Yeah, that's true. And I believe he did break into Kid Cudi's house. I believe that also. It's up to the jurors to believe it, though. That's the thing. Diddy only has domestic violence and battery, not no federal RICO case. And this is what guys, and you guys are just coming in. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be at the courthouse tomorrow. They should not let him anywhere near another human being ever again. Send him to one of those prisons on remote island somewhere. Yeah, you want to send him to, you want to send him to Alcatraz. I heard Trump is trying to open up Alcatraz again. Stop hating on NYC. We are the Mecca for everything. Rest in peace to the Knicks, guys. Rest in peace to the Knicks. Great showing. Great showing, though. Played over their head. There was stronger evidence against Boozy and Young Thug, and they out walking free. Oh, wow. So, hey, Travel Squad, you're saying there was, because Young Thug was on trial for RICO. So, and he got to do the, man. So, hey, Travel Squad, shout out to you, Travel Squad. Y'all agree with my guy, Travel Squad, right here. This is why we're talking about this right now. And shout out to L.A. Wilkes, Thin Black Line. Once again, you got to subscribe to my guy, L.A. Wilkes, Thin Black Line. He's going to be covering the Diddy trial also. So shout out to him and subscribe to my guy for the $20 and all your donations over the past week while we cover this case. Now, No federal RICO case, only domestic violence and battery, says JE. So JE is kind of agreeing with this guy, Ray J. Hit the like button, guys. Hit that like button. The free Diddy chant is becoming more and more louder as the weeks go by on this federal racketeering RICO case.
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like, I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, you know, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean,
AJ.
man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
He said, look, listen, guys, you know, as you take a look at all that damaging evidence of the baby oil, he's saying it's not fair to throw all these extra charges when the charges could have been absolutely something else. So really, Ray J is pretty much saying what other people are saying. Yeah, he should be charged with something, definitely. Look at all these baby oil, but he should have been charged with something else and not a federal racketeering RICO and acting like he's John Gotti or somebody. Hit the like button, guys. Do y'all agree with Ray J? Did the government overreach with this? And that's what the whole, you know, that's what we're here to talk about. It's not okay, not forcing no one, no drugs, no force. It's not okay when he's not forcing no one, no drugs, no force. Oh man, let me see. Baby oil, really? Diddy and Cassie was both junkie and freaks, says JE. Freak parties aren't illegal, says Samuel Miller. Ray J must have printed the free Diddy t-shirts. Will Ray J be called to testify on behalf of Diddy for the defense? And I'm gonna that's what I want to see. I want to see who goes inside that courtroom and testify on behalf of Diddy. That's what I'm looking forward to see. You know what I'm saying? And we will be live from the courthouse this week, guys. We will be live from the courthouse this week. Let me see. Word on the street is that Diddy is going to start his own baby oil company. Well, hey, he'll give Johnson & Johnson a run for their money, you know, for the press and the publicity. You know what I mean? He will give Johnson & Johnson a run for their money. And that's for sure. Hit that like button, guys. I mean, Shelly Parker says, I mean, he had traumatized so many people and truly hurt so many careers, not to mention their emotional trauma. And if for nothing else, if he did cover for the elite pulling his strings, that's bad enough. Shout out to you, Shelly. Thank you for commenting. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel, we are covering the Diddy trial. We'll be at the courthouse. So Shelly says if she was on that jury, she's finding Diddy guilty. So of racketeering, federal racketeering, trafficking, and and hope he get 15 years to life. So some people do still agree with you, Shelly Parker. You know, they think some of his stuff and his actions were that disgusting that they would be willing to find him guilty of racketeering, even though this may not be falls inside the classic RICO racketeering situation, but they'll do it just because they didn't like his behavior against, his workers and his girlfriend Cassie, and this, they didn't like all that S abuse claims and stuff like that. So they're, find him guilty anyway, which can happen if all 12 jurors, say guilty. Life in prison for being a horrible person and a freak, says JE. Drugging unsuspecting guests at his parties is illegal. Now, I think the one that was testifying, Mia, she did hint at maybe he did spike her drink. She said she was drinking some drinks, and then all of a sudden later on he was like doing some acts with her. She hinted at it, you know, that she was drinking something, and but you got to convince the jurors that she's telling the truth, because the jurors were pretty much, if you go to Tisa Tell's coverage on Friday, she was saying the jurors were agreeing with Brian Steele, the defense attorneys, pretty much shaking their head and agreeing with Brian Steele as he was cross-examining, laughing at the testimony of Mia, who was victim number 4, that hinted at maybe being drugged. She said she was drinking some alcohol with Diddy and for celebrating. And then all of a sudden, he was doing stuff to her. So man, this is wild. And I cringe actually saying talking about all this stuff. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, it's cringy. It is cringy. Mia texted him after and said she had a crush on Diddy after. Kidnapping and forced labor is illegal. Yes, it is. It is. And that's what the defense is trying to fight back against. They are pretty much, the way they're fighting back against it is saying, look, you guys stayed, you guys didn't report nothing to the authorities. You stayed and kept getting the check. You know what I'm saying? And you was on social media putting posts saying that, oh, Diddy is a good guy, Diddy this and Diddy that on Instagram. So that's how the defense have been hitting back. And it seems like some of the jurors have been agreeing with the defense, which bodes well for Diddy, because all he needs is one. I'm just, but that's what Tisa Tells was saying. She was in the courtroom saying that she was witnessing some of the jurors, which she didn't like, because she does not like Diddy at all. And she was even saying that they wanted to be there. He didn't force them to. Now, that's what Diddy's team is trying to get at. Diddy's team is trying to put inside the juror's head that some of these witnesses actually wanted to be there. The prosecutors are trying to say, no, they were coerced. They were intimidated. Diddy was threatening them over the years, and that's why they came, that's why they stayed around. That's why they came back. He was threatening to release freak off videos and the such. Cassie stayed with Diddy 12 years during this craziness. Cassie, come on. And you guys got to remember, Cassie didn't really want to testify. She got paid off. She got her money, millions of dollars, in 2 different lawsuits. She was subpoenaed. A person who is impaired, whether by drugs, alcohol, or any condition affecting judgment, cannot legally consent to S activity impairment voids consent. So Diddy providing drugs is an issue. Yes, and that is an issue. That is an issue, and the prosecutor is going to have to make that clear on their closing statements that, look, that is an issue. That he was getting drugged for their personal use at those parties, and then doing SX, and they're gonna have to they got to convince those jurors of that. And you're right, just the facts. You are right. You are 100% right. But they're gonna have to convince the jurors of that. You know what I mean? They wanted to go to party. How many of them consented to being drugged? You're right about that. If they can prove that, if other witness testimony saying they were drugged and they highly believe that they were drugged, they're gonna have to convince the jurors of that they were drugged, right? We just heard about those druggings by lawsuits by Tony Busby. We haven't really heard about a lot of the druggings inside this trial. Besides the Mia, who is testifying, she'll be back on the stand on Monday. She hinted at maybe she was drugged after she was drinking some alcohol, but she didn't necessarily say 100% if she believes if Diddy drugged her or not. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So let me see. Like I said, subscribe to Ellie Wilkes, then Black Line channel right there. Thank you for that $20. Now there's the Cassie should be a co-conspirator. I think she's like an unindicted co-conspirator. You know what I'm saying? She was subpoenaed. Diddy beat one case that would have landed him in jail for a long sentence, but he don't have Johnny Cochran this time. But it's going to be interesting who the defense calls to testify. Very interesting. very interesting, Jesse Short. You're right about that. Yeah, Johnny Cochran was defending him during that time when Shine actually went to prison, right, for that New York nightclub shooting. Have y'all heard about Zion allegations? Yeah, I didn't get into that. That's a mess with Zion Williamson. I did hear about it. The thing is, things have turned into the ghetto lottery. You said, no, it's not a federal RICO case. JE says. Now the Trump angle. Now here was Donald Trump saying, "Hey, let me just play for you what Donald Trump says." Should have Donald Trump answer this in this way. Some people saying, "Oh, Donald Trump should not have answered that question," and this and that. Let's hear what Donald Trump had to say the other day about maybe possibly giving Diddy a pardon.
And this is a big six question, but back when you listened to The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So I can't. It's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President,
Now y'all seen it. Y'all heard straight from the horse's mouth, right there. Trump answering the question on whether or not he will be willing to give Diddy a pardon. What do y'all guys take from that? Will Trump pardon Diddy if he's convicted? He said, look, he used to like me until I started running for president of the USA. If he would have chose a different path, maybe running as a Democrat, Diddy still would, he would like him. But he said Diddy said some nasty things about him. He said Diddy didn't tell him that personally, but he said if he feels that anybody who is being prosecuted is being treated unfairly, he would be willing to give a pardon, and he will look into the case. Basically, that's what he said. How do y'all think those statements from Trump bode for Diddy in the event that he is convicted? Hit the like button, though, guys. Hit that like button. Get the likes up. Hit the like button. Let's see. LA Whip says, hell no. He says, hell no. Hell no, he won't. And like I said, subscribe to my guy, LA Whip's Thin Black Line channel. He said, hell no, Trump won't pardon Diddy. Hey. He said he left the door open. He didn't slam it to say no. Now, L.A. Wilkes, I think this is the way. Now, and I've been thinking about this, L.A. Wilkes. This is the way how Diddy's team can play Trump, since Trump feels that the trials and because Trump was being brung into trial a lot also over the past 4 years, and he don't really like courts pretty much. What Diddy's defense team could do, and just keep talking about how our client is getting railroaded, our client is being treated unfairly. I think it's time for them to continue to say exactly what Trump said the reason he would give a pardon for, and continue to play up each day inside that courtroom that Diddy is being railroaded by the federal government, or Diddy is being treated unfairly somehow, even if it's not really true. They should keep saying it so Trump could keep hearing it, and then maybe Trump could say, yeah, he was treated unfairly. You know what I'm saying? So I think every time they should go in there and bring up the whole Kid Cudi car, because they were trying to get a mistrial by saying, look, the fingerprints that was taken at Kid Cudi's house, that was going to be compared to the fingerprints at the or some of the DNA at the fire of the car. They said those fingerprints were destroyed by LA Police Department, and that, wait a minute, what's going on? Why y'all pretty much hinting that Diddy told people to destroy the fingerprints? We want a mistrial. Those fingerprints, were destroyed. They're bringing that as evidence and this and that. We want a mistrial. Our client is being treated unfairly. They need to keep saying that, bringing that up, and maybe bringing up any others. They need to stretch it. They need to be like, hey, this is unfair. This is unfair. Just keep saying that so Trump can keep hearing, and maybe Trump will grant a pardon down the road. After they got drugged by Diddy, did they go to the hospital cops to find out what they were drugged with? No. That's the thing. That's another thing. It's all their word versus Diddy's word as far as those lawsuits. The only one that testified was the person that's on the stand now, hinting that maybe he did drug her drinks. I think he will beat the case as L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line. Trump, a master spinner. He knows exactly what's going on in this case. If he pardoned NBA YoungBoy Larry Hoover, he would do it for Diddy just to piss people off. And like I said, Trump is going to be in his 80s, and he's not going to be able to run again for president anyway. So, plus, Trump likes people to talk good about him. He knows Diddy would talk great about him if he were to grant him a pardon. Even though he knows Diddy said some nasty stuff according to him in the past, he knows that if he gives Diddy a pardon, that Diddy will then say great stuff about him. You know what I mean? So really, nobody's more crooked than Trump. He would definitely pardon him for the right price. Trump did not say he would look into it. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Trump said he would look into it. Yeah, Trump said he would look into it. Yeah, he said it. He said he'd definitely look into it. We outside. Definitely. He did. He did say it. Yeah, Trump did say he would look into it. I just played it. He said he did say it. All right, they wanted to do, they are lying. Okay. I'll play one more time for you guys so you can see exactly what Trump said. I'm just playing what he said, not what Raze said. I'm just saying.
And this is a basic question, but back in most of The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter, but nobody's asked. But I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, that relationship busted up. From what I read, I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. It's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Mr. President,
Yeah, he definitely said he will look into it. And like I said, the defense guy is going to have to go with him being mistreated angle for the rest of this trial, and keep saying that he is being treated unfairly inside that courtroom to play on the mind and the heart of Trump, guys. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button covering the Diddy trial. This dude just rambled. Trump my homie, but this dude just rambled. Yeah, we all know Trump rambles on a lot. Tweets a lot. Inserts himself in stuff maybe he should not be inserting himself in, because he wants the headlines. He wants his quotes to be everywhere. And I'm saying, what better way to grab headlines on his way out of the White House office when he's leaving the White House than to pardon Diddy? Now you know what I'm saying? That is still headlines. Trump loved the headlines. Add Diddy to the list of pardons. He's going to pardon like 200-300 people on his way out of the office when he's leaving, when his term is up. What better way to have your name in the headlines yet again while you're leaving office than to pardon Diddy? I mean, that's just the way Trump is. I mean, from what I see, that's his personality. You know what I'm saying? They need to give them all lie detector tests for these alleged allegations. But they said Diddy's team, Diddy gave that girl a lie detector test, for 5 days. Said he kidnapped her and put her inside of Manhattan hotel room and threatened to throw her inside the East River for stealing that jewelry. You know what I mean? Jacob the jeweler, gave some jewelry. You know what I mean? And it went missing, and just what a wild case this is. Cringe. It's a cringe type case. Also, the testimony is cringe. It's hard to listen to and hard to repeat some of the stuff that's alleged that Diddy and his people did. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird stuff. In fact, says L.A. Wilkes. Like I said, subscribe to L.A. Wilkes, then Black Line channel right there. Click on that and click on the link I dropped for him and subscribe to the channel. And here is another. Hit that like button. Anybody coming through? Thank you all the new subs we've been picking up over the past week covering the Diddy trial. This was the federal prosecutor. Fox News talk about Diddy could walk.
Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial will resume tomorrow as a third personal assistant is set to take the stand. Over the first couple of weeks, jury members heard explosive testimony detailing the alleged physical and emotional abuse Combs caused. Let's bring in David Gelman, former prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. David, welcome.
Hey, Mike, good to be here.
So in week 2 of testimony, jurors heard from a dozen witnesses as prosecutors try to prove sex trafficking and racketeering. What are your expectations when court resumes tomorrow?
It's going to be really interesting tomorrow when Diddy's third or fourth assistant takes a stand, and she's going to actually corroborate Kid Cudi's testimony from last week, where he said that Diddy and another associate of his bombed his Porsche years ago at his house. Now, you have to have corroboration about that because nobody can put Diddy there. And in fact, nobody even can say Diddy's the actual one who did it. But if they can say that Diddy or an associate of his did it, then you may have a racketeering charge there. Because right now, as it stands, Mike, nothing, and I mean nothing, is sticking to Diddy.
Diddy's lawyers are trying to make the case that his escapades do not amount to federal crimes. How difficult is that argument?
I think they're doing a fantastic job, honestly. Look, everybody has said, and Diddy's lawyers even said it in their opening statement, Diddy is not a good guy. There's a lot of domestic violence that occurred between him and Cassie in their relationship. However, what we've heard so far from the testimony of Cassie and the other individuals does not amount to the federal charges that he's being charged with right now. I'm not going to say anything that we heard is very good because it's all horrific. However, the state or the government in this particular instance needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he conspired to racketeer, to sex traffic, and to promote prostitution. So far, they're falling way behind in this. And I know there's a lot more to go in this trial because they're saying it's going to be about 8 weeks. But the government really better step on the gas because they don't have a lot more time to go.
So the play seems to be maybe admit to a state crime that avoids prison time. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, again, you're hearing about all this domestic violence, but all of that has nothing to do with what Diddy is charged with. There's a possibility, and I'm saying a very strong possibility right now, that Diddy could walk, that he could be spending 4th of July at home having a barbecue.
Interesting. David Gelman, thank you very much for your analysis today.
Diddy could walk, according to former prosecutor. That was on Fox News. Subscribe to the channel, guys. We Outside says kidnapping, criminal conspiracy equal RICO, says We Outside. Oh, man. Yes. And like I say, kidnapping was mentioned by the, one of the assistants the other day. Yeah, well, and the thing is, the problem is she didn't go to the police, and she went back and worked for the company, and so it's blurring the lines. We could believe that did happen to her. We can believe that they did threaten to throw her in the East River. We can believe that. Will the juries believe it? Will the jury really care if she went back and continued to work there for years and then try to get future employment with Diddy? You know what I'm saying? It's like at that point, or you're a victim at that point, even though if that did happen to you was bad, but now I don't know. It's now she would have went to the police right afterwards and filed a complaint, police report. Then and then you could have arrested Diddy for kidnapping in the moment. And come out with the evidence that they held you out over there at that. You know what I mean? Your life is still on the line right now. You'd be more likely to get Diddy find Diddy guilty on a kidnapping charge in that moment. Around that time it happened. You know what I'm saying? Not after the fact. All these years later, when the alleged victim stayed with the company and actually asked for employment again once she left the company. But she said, these people are saying they went back to Diddy because they felt that they couldn't really get another job, and Diddy blackballed them, and this and that. So it's muddy. It's very muddy. So I'm just putting it out there. It's for you guys to decide. But really, ultimately, it's up to these jurors to decide what they want to do with this. He's up by 10 late in the third quarter. Trump could relate to Diddy, almost same situation. Oh, with him being dragged into court, right, for allegations and stuff like that. We Outside said, nope, it's only the first quarter, Desmond. He said it's only the first quarter, not the third quarter, Desmond. Hit that like button, guys. This is fun covering the Diddy trial. And we're going to be live from the court in this week. And this is, I'm going to play this one more time. This is Ray J. Talking about free Diddy.
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
The charges could have been something totally different. And that's what I was kind of like hinting at like a week ago before I actually went to the courthouse. I was like, maybe they overreached this. Maybe the charges should have been different. And they could have got a conviction. And still, he could have served a pretty lengthy time in prison. Like I said, the homeboy, the guy, Harvey Weinstein, he wasn't charged federally. He was charged by the New York State for assault and R-word, and they got a conviction. And he's serving 23 years. He got 2 different convictions. The other one, he got sentenced to 14, but I think he's getting a retrial on that one. But those were states, you know. Maybe they could have searched out some alleged victim to try to get them to file the criminal charges, you know, against them. Maybe, I don't know if they would have cooperated though. That's the thing. See, here, these people are being subpoenaed, and these allegations are coming out against Diddy during the subpoena, you know, witness testimony in this trial. But he said, look, he's being charged extra according to Ray J, and Ray J doesn't like it. Will Ray J take the stand and testify in Diddy's defense? Will Diddy himself testify, you know, in his own defense? Suge Knight suggested that Diddy should go on the stand and testify in his own defense. I don't know. I don't think the defense is going to put Diddy on the stand because he's going to get cross-examined by the prosecutors, and that probably won't go well for Diddy. But Suge Knight said Diddy should probably testify in his own defense. The fact that he said he's been with Diddy makes him unqualified to speak. Well, I want to hear more from him. I want to see if he go on that stand and testify under oath. Right? We outside. I want to hear more from him. Domestic violence is the charge. DV. Yeah, DV would be the charge if they were, you know, to do that. But, you know, he's not charged with domestic violence, KQ. That's what, you know, his defense attorneys are saying. They are after his money, says Anita. Ray J said from Angie P said, Ray J, you need to talk about yourself, not Diddy yourself, and Diddy is guilty, says Angie P. Stop listening to YouTube and read the transcripts. What Diddy needs to do is start talking nice about Trump like Adams did. Yes, like Mayor Adams did. Yeah, like, you know, Mayor Adams played that perfectly, bro. Travel Squad, Mayor Adams played that perfectly. New York City Mayor Adams, he played that perfectly. Man. Mayor Adams played that perfectly. Why would the federal government be after Diddy's money, the U.S. print money? Yeah, guys. So hit that like button, though, guys. We're gonna be live from the Diddy courthouse this week. You know, and we're gonna have coverage over here of this Diddy trial, twists and turns, surprise witnesses after surprise witnesses, and see how this verdict is going to be handled by the jurors, the 12 jurors. I consider you guys the 13th juror in the chat. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel, and we will be live this week from the Diddy courthouse. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Let me see. A lifer giving advice is diabolical, says we outside. Anybody want to do create live streams like this one? Hit that link right there. StreamYard. Right there, you get $10 discount off of StreamYard. That's what a lot of YouTubers and streamers in general, whether you on Instagram or whatever, use StreamYard. You get a $10 discount. So hit that. Use my code right there, and you get $10 off if you sign up to use StreamYard. So you can do live streams. You can bring up people on your panels and all that. Have add graphics and different stuff to your streams. So hit that StreamYard discount link right there. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. And until later on today and tomorrow, I'm Raze, and I am out.